everyone, welcome to my review of Transformers Age of the Primes. It has finally begun. We're looking at Age of the Primes Titan class Trypticon, a repaint of the original Titans Returns, which feels like 15 years ago. Titan class Trypticon, but this time in animation accurate colors instead of toy accurate like the original. And also, from what I've read, apparently this idiot does have the knee fixes that the original one did not have, because the knee ratchet would just explode on the original one. But I've heard that, this one is better. Now then, as you can see down there, we also have the boy Full Tilt here with his headmaster, whose name I don't remember, but I don't really care. But Full Tilt is here as well. So, I'm gonna get Trypticon out of here. I'm gonna grab Full Tilt, and we're gonna do his review first, and then we're gonna take a look at Trypticon himself. So, here we have the Decepticon Full Tilt away from Trypticon, and looking very purple. Also, the headmaster is called Necro. Did not say that in the instructions, so I had to look it up on TF Wiki. Turns out there's a name there. Also, this guy apparently did appear in a singular episode, potentially even in a singular frame, of the original Generation 1 cartoon. If you go on to TF Wiki, there is an image there of this guy being attached to the chest of Trypticon, meaning that this guy is, as they would say in the anime community, canon, so he deserves to be on the shelf. But let's talk about the problem I have with this guy, and that is the fact that he is just so purple. Now the head sculpt, let's take a look at that bad boy. Looks very nice. I like the head sculpt, but the purple kind of washes out some of the details. Now, the thing is that I find weird about this is the fact that Trypticon became a darker color. Instead of gray, he's now black. But Full Tilt went the opposite way, because the original Full Tilt was a lot darker of a purple. This one isn't. So I just thought that was funny. But overall, I think that this guy is actually pretty great. We got the nice vents here on the chest right there. Sadly enough, like I said, the details do kind of get washed out with the fact of lack of extra paint. Then we got the legs here. Very Generation 1 legs. And then here he is from the back. Also, here we have the arms, the big arms. And overall, I'm happy that he's here because, it adds more value to the Titan class figure. Because, other Titan class figures don't really have that. However, if I will have to say one little thing about this guy, he doesn't really have any heels. Doesn't really take much for him to fall over because his heels aren't really existing at all. But let's take the head off, as we should do, so we can take a good look at the head sculpt right there. And then here from the side, here from the back. And let's get this idiot into robotic mode. And here we have the Decepticon Necro, which actually has some integration with Trypticon, which I will show off. But we got some nice little things here, like the face being painted. Very nice. I like the fact he kind of looks like a bit of a ninja in that sense. And obviously articulation for these little guys. His arms can move forward and back, and you have a knee bend and also leg go forward. But that's it. So not much articulation, but it's still nice to include limbs. Looking at the fact that this guy did come from the Titans Return. So I guess we finally have headmasters again after so long. But let's get you back into hit mode so we can get into the other thing that I don't really like about this guy, which you may have already noticed, but I'll show you right now. And that is this back piece here. Now this back piece is, it doesn't really have a locking point or a stopping point. Because the transformation, you're supposed to, you tab the arms into this thing. But like, it can sit down here, it can sit up here. The way that I've seen it is it being up here, so I'm gonna leave it there. But like, you can still do that, but there's no like locking point. I kind of wish there was a locking point. That would have made things a little bit better. But overall, he is a nice looking guy that requires some more paint on the figure. But let's be honest here, that budget went entirely to Trypticon. So then, let's move you out of the way, because we gotta look at, also by the way, we got the tiny little Decepticon badge right there. But we gotta look at the weapon, which is very nicely painted. As you can see, the shiny purple paint kind of looks like some kind of like spaceship, something out of Star Wars or something like that. But it is a nice weapon. You even have some silver over here, and you can hold it if you want to, or plug it here on the back if you want to as well. But this guy is just a fun little guy, and that's all I can really say about it. He looks nice. So then let's move you out of the way so we can get into articulation, so it can rotate a full 360. There's some wobbly because of the Titan's Return gimmick. His arms can do a full 360. You got a shoulder joint that goes up. Trigger happy is what I think people call it. And bicep rotation, an elbow joint. The hands can go in specifically for transformation. but could still be used as maybe articulation. I don't know. He has no waist joint, which is entirely a shame, and they could have easily put in a waist joint because there's no need for, there's nothing here really for the transformation outside of this little, cock piece that he has. There's nothing really here for transformation, but they could have put the waist joint right there, and it would not have broken up anything. But I guess the more of the budget went into Trypticon than into this guy. So then leg can go forward, they can go back, and then out, rotation, swivel. He got a nice knee bend as well. Nothing at the feet, because let's be honest here, he barely has any feet. But overall, he looks pretty nice. So then, let us move then straight into SAS comparison as I grab the boys. So here we have Full Tilt with Galvatron and Starscream, and also from this point forward, there's not gonna be any more of that Megatron from Dramatic Capture series being shown off in reviews. I don't like that figure because it's so loose. So until we get Studio Series Megatron, you will see Galvatron only, no Megatron. But here he is with those two as well. He's on the bigger side of the Luxes. Sometimes Voyagers are not even gonna be taller than him. So he's pretty much a pretty tall deluxe. Let's get these out of here to bring in the classic one. Because speaking of Dramatic Capture series, here we have Soundwave and Shockwave from the Dramatic Capture series. You can see because of the silver on the arms. And this is what he looks like with them as well. Looking very nice. So let's get these guys out of here as well. And then let's get everything out of here, because normally I would then go immediately into transformation. But yeah, I want Trypticon. So Trypticon time. So here we have Trypticon looking all nice. By the way, this thing is a separate attachment that came with Full Tilt. I will show the integration later on. Now then, as we are higher, the audio is a little bit more echoey. I do apologize for that, but there's nothing really I could do about that. But Trypticon, he looks really good. However, I have my small issues in the open box that came out yesterday. By the way, I actually just saw the fact that I crossed 400 subscribers. Thank you all so very much for subscribing, I guess. Thank you. You guys are great. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, it very much is. Anyway, back to Trypticon. As you may have seen already with my open box, the arm likes to untab way too easily. Like, this connection here is not the most stable one. And I don't really like that. Neither is, as you saw, this. Like, this thing popped off when I first tried to mess around with it after the open box, and it just never went back, and it just, like, it became loose. But outside of that, this thing is still very much imposing, and I feel like no matter what shot you get him into or pose you get him into, he looks great. But let us take a look at the details, shall we? So starting off here, we got his big head looking very nice. You can also open and close the mouth, but looking very nice. Look at the niceness on the head. Sadly enough, I can't really go any higher, so we gotta do this instead. So as you can see, here's the top of the head. Here we got the back of the head with like thrusters here in the back. Sorry if this gives you guys motion sickness, but there's really no other way. This thing is just that tall. But yeah, and then we got the nice cannons here. We got these spikes here, which I don't know what they're supposed to be, but I will say they look pretty cool. But we got the cannons here with these things being able to go in and out if you want to. I like to have them pointing out. That's just my preference anyway. Then we have the chest here. Let's just put the camera down again. We have the nice chest here with this thing that can just pop out like so, and then you have a chest like this. And that's why I put this thing in there, in order to give it more color. But look at all the detail that's in here as well. Also the nice purple. Then look at the arm here. We got a bunch of like little details here on the arms as well. This thing is just full of details, but for Titan price point, yeah, this is definitely worth it. Why is your, look at this. His leg is like doing this. They like to go out a little bit. It's not the best, sadly enough. But yeah, anyway, let's look at these back cannon assembly thing. Look at this, all the wheels that he has here. Look at that, looking really cool. And then, obviously, we will go down even further. Audio should be back to normal because we gotta look at the big legs. We also have this golden thing here as well. But look at these big feet, these big stompers, and also he has a gigantic tail, as you can see, with like an eye here, kind of. But yeah, look at this tail. This thing is just so impressive to look at, to mess with. He looks so good. Even here he has a little wheel for, you know, vehicle mode-ish purposes. But yeah, and here's what he looks like for the other leg. I like the purple here as well. I love the way that the colors blend together because I've always been more of a fan of black compared to gray. So this is a big improvement personally for me. Even looks like he's got a couple of cannons down here. Let me put this bad boy back on. But overall, he is pretty great. So let's go back up. Because now we can look at the features that he has. Starting off, as I've already shown, this can open up. And you can put some smaller figures in here in both of these holes. Or, which I actually like, you can open up his mouth, which you can't really see because it's too low. And if you look in there, there's a hole that will lead straight in here. Let's see if I can show that off. Nope, I can't really. I can't show that off. My finger is too small, dang it. Ugh, I can't show it off. Or can I? If I take his headmaster here, I can just throw it in there and look at that. See that? Let's see if I can move backwards a little bit to show it off. That way you can get the full experience. So you could just throw it in there. See? I was actually messing around with this for a while. When I learned he could do this, I was kind of just doing this. You know, it is your figure. You're allowed to do with it as you please. But you can also, I think you can store like small like mini-con figures, or maybe even like the mini bots, the tiny deluxes maybe can fit in there as well. But overall, that is actually a pretty fun thing to do. Or you can just store your weed in there as well. That's also a possibility. But that's not all, because this headmaster here has more of a purpose. So as I take you up here, as you can see here, we have a gigantic gap. This head can go inside of this gap. Let's see if I can show it off better. Yeah, there's like a little hole there for the guy to go into. So if you just take him with his face basically facing forward, watch, saying a little, click carefully. Bang! He's got a gun! Because there's actually like a button there that you can use in order to get it out. However, if you don't want to... Come on. Oh god. However, if you don't want to use the little guy, you can just pull on it a little bit. Like, it sits perfectly fine. It won't come undone. But if you just like touch it a little bit, you can just open it up as well. So you don't need the little guy, but you can use the little guy. Since we don't necessarily have accessories because we already looked at the boy accessory himself, I guess we could go into articulation. So starting off with his head, as I've already shown, you can open up his mouth and close it back up. No real rotation. However, there is a transformation rotation that you can use in order to get him to look side to side. So he does have rotation here, but it's not like at the head. It's more like at the neck thing. The collar, I guess you could say. The guns can obviously move up and down as well. And like I already said, you can extend this bad boy. The arms can do a full rotation. They can go in and out as long as they don't untap. Right here, you can bend the elbow and the claws can open and close. And also, as you can see here, there's movement, so you can move that as well. So he has a lot of articulation in the arms. No waist rotation because, look at this. Where's he gonna put a waist rotation? But now we come to the difficulty part. We come to the legs, which can move forward and back. And have a little bit of in and out action as well, as you can see right there. Then he also has a bend at the knee, like all the way forward, like so. Can you see that? No. All the way forward like so, which actually, when I have him on the shelf, I have him standing there like this with the leg backwards, because otherwise he comes over my shelf and I don't like that. Yeah, but you can also bend the knee inwards as well if you want to. And he also has a pretty meaty ankle tilt as well. And the toe can move down and up as well if you, well, not necessarily up, but down. But that's mainly for transformation purposes. And these claw things can go in also, in a way, for transformation purposes. So he has some good articulation. You can get some good poses out of him. I am not really good enough, and also my setup is not really big enough for him to really be able to stretch his stuff. Even though he kind of has to because of transformation purposes. So then, how about we just bring in everyone for the size comparison? So here we have the power of Trypticon with his body full tilt and some Decepticons that I had that are lying around from the full tilt part for the size comparison. And yeah, he is really big. That's also why he costs so much. But he is really big. And this is about the only size comparison I'm gonna do, because I'm not really gonna switch around figures. This is the size comparison. So then, Let me get all these guys out of here. And now we're going to be going into transformation. We'll start off with full tilt because he's the easiest one. And then we'll get Trypticon into his battleship mode. So I'll see you for that. So let's get full tilt transformed. Man, it feels good to sit again into his vehicle mode. So what you want to start off with is a simple step. It's to fold the hands in. It is always a simple step. I like to start off with the simple steps. Then after that, you want to take off his head. And put it off to the side. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put this idiot into like a sitting position. And then we're gonna put you off to the side. And what we can do then is we can take this back piece here and rotate it up. And then on the side here and on this side there are tabs that are gonna slide into the slot that is... see if I can show that off right there. There's a slot there, and on that side there's a slot as well. So basically you want to push these arms up. Make sure that they stay straight with everything else. So straighten out the arms and then push it up and tap it into place like so. Then what you want to do is you want to split the legs, take his cock piece, I guess, and undo it because that is needed for later stuff. Anyway, then what you want to do is you want to rotate him around, take the legs and open up the back of the legs, and then afterwards rotate this whole piece around and just slide it into place. Just rotate it around and just get it into place, Combine-A-War style. And then what you want to do is you want to take these pieces here and rotate them in. And then finally what you want to do in order to hide away, I guess, the this stuff, you want to take this and just like push it over. And to finish off the bad boy, what you want to do is... Oh, this is actually kind of difficult for me to show off. I need to open up one of you and rotate you around. If at all possible. Thank you. Because I want to open up this back piece here. Now I can close you back up. Because then in here you can sit the big boy himself as well. There you go. Close him back up. Sit him down, and here we have him in his, what is that even supposed to be, vehicle mode. So let's bring Trypticon in. Alright, here we go, the problematic man. Also, I'm gonna start off by closing that up. So let's get this guy into his first of 2 modes. And to be honest, in order to get from one mode to the last mode, like from robot mode to his like city mode, the other mode is kind of wedged in between, so it's gonna be easier to get to the last mode. So what you want to start off with is you want to take the head, actually take these cannons first, rotate them up a bit, because that makes it easier to rotate this whole thing around. Rotate the head around. Let's just get this out of the way so you can see better, because then what you want to do is you want to take the head and rotate it all the way up and sit it in its position like so. And I guess then you can lift this up. After that, what you want to do is you want to take the arms, rotate them in, and then right here there's a tab, as you can see, that is going to slide into this back slot right there. So you want to rotate this around, line it up, tab it in, and then rotate the hand up to fill in that place. Do the same thing on the other side. So rotate this up and get it slotted straight into its position. Rotate the hand up, fold the hand in as well. Very nice to do. And then what you want to do is you want to untap the arm piece and rotate it up as well. Something that I personally did not see in the instruction. I was very confused about until I untapped it myself. Then what you want to do is you want to lie this big boy down by taking the tail and rotating it in on itself. Rotate the whole figure around then, so we can have something like this. And I still can't really sit down. So next up, what you want to do is you want to fold up this and then take the toe and rotate it down. Do the same thing on the other side. Just fold this up, rotate the toe down. And then what you want to do is you want to come in here and you want to press on this button right here. You want to press it, and that untabs that. But also, if you press on it, you can unlock the leg from in here. Yeah. In here, the leg tabs in. You have to use this button twice in order to do that. Anyway, what you want to do with this is you want to rotate this around like so, double hinge it in, and then you want to get it filling up this side here. Rotate this down, and then also on the foot here, which you can't really see, there's a tab right here. It goes into a slot right there. So we're just gonna take this and just tap it into its position where it's supposed to be, and then rotate the idiot around and do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna untab it, rotate it around here, and then take the leg here and just tab it in. Use the knee joints that you need in order to get everything lined up. And then also take the cannons here and rotate them around, not that far around. And then finally what you can do is you can flip out the wing here and also the wing on this side, and I guess here you have Trypticon in his ship mode. So here we have full tilt in his vehicle mode, and I would like to ask you guys, what is this even supposed to be? Okay, look, I can't really get, like, is it a race car? I mean, technically you can put the gun on top and have like a gun thing. It's like, I don't know what this thing is supposed to be. It confuses me, but it does look weird. It looks very weird. It looks really, really weird. That's all I can say. I think it looks weird. It's not something that I'm a fan of, but also I'm weirdly not hating it either. It's more of a middle thing. So then let's take a look here at the guy. And he's once again very purple, but the wheels have a nice silver and black combination like that. Sadly enough, this is just entirely purple, and it's just like color breakup would have probably meant, like, this looks kind of like where the dude's supposed to sit, even though he sits here in the back seat. He's supposed to kind of like sit in the cockpit area, I guess, you know, kind of like an F1 racer or something like that. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's what this is supposed to be. I don't know. Maybe this is just supposed to be some kind of super strong car that can break through walls. Who's to say? But as you can see here, all the details here at the back. The engine is at the back. At least we have that covered, because this kind of does look like an engine block. And then we got this here at the front. I don't know what why is there a gap here? I don't know, but we got some vents here at the front as well. This thing doesn't like to stay up, apparently. Just wanted to come down. It doesn't fall down. Nope, doesn't fall down. And then here he is from the bottom as well. I mean, hides himself pretty well, but that's because of the fact that I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Now then, for weapon storage, as you can see here at the top, and then now it looks entirely different. This is supposed to be some kind of like, if you look at the image about the Generation 1 show, it looks like Trypticon has kind of some kind of tank thing on his chest. This is not a tank thing, so I don't know what this is supposed to be. But he looks pretty cool. Rolls as it should, you know, rolling stuff. You can open this up and the guy can just sit in here. Very nice. Also, look at the detail in here. And a bunch of details in there. We got some details around here as well. Look, the paint might not be on top, but the detail sure is. And then here we got the guy. I don't know why he sits in the back, but whatever. I don't necessarily care. Back in his place. So yeah, a nice car mode that maybe, I mean, it's got 4 wheels. It's a car at least. So nice car mode, I guess. That's all I can really say about this thing. So then, now I'm kind of done talking about this thing. We can go into the size comparison of what, well, how big this guy is. Let's get into that one, shall we? Starting off here, we got Galvatron and Starscream with full tilt in their vehicle mode. And, yeah, I'm just flabbergasted by what, I'm stumped, I guess you could say, by what full tilt is supposed to be. That I'm just, I've lost my train of thought, my apologies. But yeah, here he is with them looking very nice, I guess, I don't know. I mean, look at all the colors here, and then you get this block, basically. Let's get them out of here, so that we can bring in the Soundwave Shockwave action. Stay! Yeah, the Soundwave Shockwave action that we are always supposed to have, looking very nice. And let's get you guys out of here. And instead of going for that reverse transformation, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear off this whole table and I'm gonna bring in the big boy himself. So here we have Trypticon in his ship mode, and I will say this, even though I have heard people kind of complain about this mode being like it just doesn't really look cool, I think it looks really cool actually. I think it looks really cool. I'm a big fan of this mode. I mean, yes, his head is poking out of the behind right there, and it kind of looks like he has a face there at the front as well. But overall, I'm a big fan of this mode. I think it looks great. However, I do have some small issues, but we'll get there when we get there. Also, for any customization options on how you want to display it, if you want to, you can take the ramps and fold them forward if you want to have that look going on. Or if you want to, you can take these pieces up here and rotate these pieces down if you want to go for that look. I like to leave these bad boys up here. It also kind of just gets out of the way of the cannons. Also fold out the whole cannon. But yeah, and these things you can fold forward if you want to, but I like them folded away more. I think this is my personal favorite configuration. Overall, he does a pretty good job, and actually reminds me of Transformers War for Cybertron, the video game, where at the end of the Autobot campaign you have to fly up as Air Raid, Silverbolt, or Jetfire, and you have to take on Trypticon yourself. You fly inside of Trypticon, and then you learn, once you're at the end of that level, that Trypticon is actually a, you know, and also a Cybertronian. So then he starts to transform. You gotta escape out. Then he falls down to Cybertron, and then it's Optimus, Ironhide, or Bumblebee. I think it was Bumblebee actually that was part of that. No, maybe Warpath. I don't remember actually who was the third one. But you gotta take out Trypticon yourself. absolutely wonderful. Thought that game was great, and having an actual Trypticon figure makes me personally very happy. So let's look at the details, shall we? So starting off here at the front, we have some nice details here. Like I said, this does kind of look like a face, especially with the fact that he can open his mouth. I mean, this is mainly for the third mode, but you can actually do that in this mode as well. But yeah, you got a nice thing here. You also have a nice cannon here at the front. But look at all the detail that's on here. I don't really know how to describe all these details, so I'm just going to show it off to you guys. Then you got him here at the leg. Fold the toe down. Now, one thing I find weird is you kind of have a gap here. Why? Why is there just a gap in there? So weird. But yeah, but we got a bunch more details here. So these kind of looks like escape pods from Trypticon. In case something happens, you can get into the escape pod and shoot yourself out. You got some more details down here. You also have a bunch of details over here. Also, the original version of this figure from Transformers Titans Return did come with a big sticker sheet, as you saw with my unboxing. This one did not, so I don't really care. I don't like stickers personally. But yeah, but here we go. Here we got the details over here. You can fold this out, this out as well, and look at more details here from like a runway kind of thing. I mean, you could technically have this and then get Starscream ready to just take off. But here we go. Here's my personal problem that I have with this thing. This is kind of loose. It doesn't really fully tab in. This might be because of the mold degradation, I think is what people call it. But yeah, I don't really like the fact that you can kind of like lift this up. I kind of wish it locked in a bit better, personally. Now, that is to say, I have never actually held the original. So if the original had this as well, I would have had that complaint for that guy as well. However, one thing that is kind of a little bit weird is we do have the arm just sitting here. I mean, you can fold it down if you want to, but the, you know, Trypticon arms are just sitting there out in the open for the view. We got the nice head here that is also pretty much open. However, I do like the fact that these pieces here cover up the eye. I think that's actually pretty cool. And then the other side looks basically the same. However, this one sticks up a little bit more, and I can't get it down, no matter what I do. But you got some nice detail once again here as well. I mean, it's the same detail as on the other side, but you know, you gotta show it off, right? Here we got some more niceness here at the front as well. And then this is, there you go. Here's what it looks like from the front, I guess. There you go. This is front. Overall, not that bad of a design, personally. Now then, I'm gonna only show the full tilt integration once we get to the next mode. So since we don't really have anything else to do, I think it is perfectly time. I'm gonna do it like this for the good old-fashioned size comparison. So I'm gonna grab some boys, put them in here, and then, you know, see you guys in a second. So here we have Trypticon with some of the boys. Actually, I can bring in one more boy just because I want to and because I'm a fan of the show. Here we go. But here we have Trypticon with a bunch of Decepticons and Kid from Knight Rider himself, or Agent Knight as the Transformers fans know him as. But he'll forever be Kid to me. But anyway, here we go. And this thing is huge. And yes, it is not the appropriate size because technically he's supposed to be bigger, because the idiots that you see right now just lying on top of him are supposed to go inside of the guy. He is supposed to be way bigger, but I don't really care about that stuff. He is a big imposing guy, and that's all that really matters. But what if he were to be able to get even bigger? Yes, people, he has a third mode, because usually with these idiots, they got this thing known as a base mode. So I'm gonna get everyone out of here, and then we'll get straight into the transformation into the base mode. Alright, so let's get continuing on with this guy's transformation. Actually, fold this idiot back. But let's continue on with this guy's transformation in order to get him to base mode. Now, we are almost already there. It's just a couple more steps in order to get him in there. So, I need more space. I don't have more space, but I need more space. Because what you want to start off with is you want to untap the legs from in here. Do the same thing on the other side. Untap the leg. Rotate the leg out. Then you gotta lift this leg up. And then in here, you can split it down the middle, which sometimes is a little bit easier said than done. There we are, we even got the split. And just fold this whole thing out, and there you go. One side is done. Now the other side. So just rotate it out, I guess, and then just... There we go. Split the leg like so. There we are. Then what you want to do is you want to take these ramps here and rotate them around and all the way down. Do the same thing on the other side, even though my copy doesn't really want to do that with the ramp. This one does go down. This one just doesn't want to go down. It's like, it was a little bit tighter, but you're supposed to bend it. Like so. And then finally take these cannons, fold them down, and then come in here. Open this bad boy up, rotate this down as well, like so. And when I said finally, I was lying. I was very much lying, boys. Because what we gotta do next up is we gotta rotate these up, rotate this up as well, and also rotate this piece here up in order to create some kind of like tower situation. And if my calculation is correct. Actually, one more little thing here. Let me just once again come closer here. I forgot to do this. I thought I had done it, but I did not. You want to take these pieces here and rotate them around. Now we're done. Now he is in his beautiful little city mode. So here we have Trypticon in his big city mode. Also, I forgot to do comparisons with Titans, other Titans. But as you can see, I have no real room to do that kind of stuff. So I would like to apologize to you guys about that. But sadly enough, there's not really much that I can do here. He takes up the whole table. But it looks pretty good. And also, you can adjust things if you want to. Because, since these are the legs, you can still use like the rotations that are in here in order to kind of get the sides to look the way that you want to look. But overall, he looks pretty nice. And also, you can take this guy, take him from back here, and rotate him like forward, and then there you go. He can roll off the table, but I caught him. But yeah, you can do that. You can also use these ramps if you want to. I did not catch him that time. I wasn't ready. It all happened so fast. But yeah, he can do all of that. So now then, before we really look at the city mode, let's move straight into the back here. Because of the fact that this guy can also attach to the city mode. And what you want to do with that is you want to open this up, rotate this forward here. Then you want to take this guy and put him in here. And there's a tab right here. You can't really show that off. Right there is a tab that goes to a slot right under here. There you go. So basically you want to put him as far back as you can, slide him in, and then close him up with this front piece here. And technically you're actually supposed to do this in order to have him. But I kind of wish that there was some kind of like a shooting mechanic so that you can kind of like shoot him out. But sadly enough, there is not. But there you go. That is what you can do with him. And he can also sit like that on Trypticon's chest if you like that instead. You can do whatever you want with it. I just like to have this guy as just a separate guy himself. So there's no real need for me to really do this. However, this thing still makes its own kind of separate tower, with or without full tilt involved. But I just thought I'd show that off. But overall, this is one beautiful looking city mode. It is probably one of the better ones. Also, to anyone wondering, these connectors can connect to other Titan class figures. So you can connect them up in order to make like a big city. I don't have the room for that, okay? And if I go to the floor with these figures, my dog is just gonna ruin everything. So I can't show it off, but you can connect it with these things. And also on that side there's another one. But this thing looks actually pretty cool. I like the ship mode the most out of the two vehicle modes that he has, but this one still doesn't look too bad. Also, if you want to, you can fold these things in if you don't want to have them folded out. Your choice, your figure, you can do with it as you please. And also now, the opening mouth gimmick that he has makes a lot more sense. Because if you fold this up and take this and just... There you go, wow. Now it was tight. But the opening mouth gimmick so that they can go inside of the city. You can actually put something down in here. The only deluxe that I have is really this guy. So let's see here. You can kind of put like a deluxe in there if you want to. It's like a space for a deluxe. But there is play value to be had with this thing, if you want to, and everything works, because like the legs of Fort Max can also split apart, but there's no reason for him to do that. But this at least has a reason, and I very much like this mode the most out of all of the other city modes that I have seen over the course of Titan class figures. Except technically for the base mode of Omega Supreme, but that is his main mode, so I'm not really gonna count that one. But this is better than Fort Max. I would like to say that. This is way better than Fort Max. So then how about we just get some figures involved into this thing and really show the power of himself. So here we got a bunch of different size comparisons. I really wish you would just stay like this. Good old Soundwave, my boy. Shockwave, sorry, my fault. But here we have them all together, and technically you can still fold out the ramp, but man, that exceeds the table that I have. Anyway, but he looks very, very big, very imposing, we're next to the rest of these guys, and who knows, maybe I'll show you guys a little bit of a size comparison with the robot mode of Trypticon next to Omega Supreme during the final thoughts, but I will say I did forget about that, so you're not gonna get that in the other modes. But overall, he looks very nice. So I will get all of these guys out of here so that we can get into that reverse transformation, and then we get into final thought. Alright, let's get into the transformation back into Trypticon mode. Let me just get Full Tilt out of here, because I like to get the big boy done first this time, because look at how big he is. So let's start off with the ramp here. You fold it up like that. Take these ramps, fold them up as well. Simple as that. We just get the ramps out of the way. Take these two pieces here, rotate them in as well. And after that, what you want to do is a little bit of a difficult part to show off, because what you want to do is you want to take the leg here. You can rotate it up, but what you want to do is you want to actually double hinge this in, line the leg up with the thing, and then just kind of get everything in its placement where it needs to go, and just close the whole leg up around it like so. Do the same thing on the other side. So just like, as you can see, this is the underside, by the way. Never showed that off. Very nice. We even have like some painted stuff back here. Don't know why, but still. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to get these like tabs. Oh, you can see that, it's too high. These tabs here into the slots down here. There's slots. So you basically just want to take this and double hinge it down. I like to just line one of these up and then like basically get the rest in its place as well. And there we go. Then what you want to also fold the wing up. Fold the wing up. Both of these wings need to be folded up as well. Then what you want to do is you want to take this thing, and this purple piece here is going to slide into the slot right in here. This slot right here. So you want to take this, rotate it up, and do the same thing on the other side, and just click it in until you hear a soft click. Then what you want to do is you want to take the leg here and undo it from this big gap and put it in this big gap that I don't really think you can see, but who's to say? There you go, maybe now you can see it. But yeah, this is a big gap. So basically you want to take this, rotate it down, and just push it in with all the force that you have. Also, you can then afterwards take the toe, rotate it up, and take these little side toe thingies, these things, and fold them out as well. And there you go, one leg done. And then how you want to align this thing here is your choice, your own choice. I like to fold it in, that way it's more out of the way. Then on the other side, do the same thing here. So untab this, rotate it down here, and tap it back in, rotate this down, also fold up the foot, fold out these things. After that, what you want to do is you want to take the tail here and rotate it out like so. And I like the way how, you know, here we go, this part here hides inside of it. So it's like, just like you can rotate this out and get it all out like so. Now we can get him standing, kind of like so. There you go. Now he is standing, so now we can move up in the world. Fold this thing here down. There we go. Now then, what you want to do here is you want to take the arm here and slide it in here, and then this tab here is going to slide into that slot right there. So just rotate it down and tab it in. The tab connection is not perfect, but you know, this is the second release of the figure. Anyway, then you want to take the head and rotate it forward. Take these things, I like to rotate them up, and then you can rotate this whole section here all the way around. There we go. Rotate the cannons down, rotate the cannons down. And then finally you want to untap the arm from in here, and then just rotate it out, fold it down like so. Do the same thing on the other side, so just rotate the arm down like so. And then after everything is said and done, rotate the legs forward a bit more. Here we have Trypticon back in his robot mode. Alright, so let's get Full Tilt back into his robot mode as well, because we are not done yet. So first of all, I like to put in a weapon. It makes it easy to open this up. Then take the headmaster, put him out, put him off to the side, close this bad boy back up, take the gun, move it off to the side. Now we can really get into this fun. The fun of him. So what you want to start off with is, I personally like to just take these pieces here, rotate them down like so, and then use them in order to open up the legs. Then rotate the legs out and around like so. Take the cock piece here and move it up. I actually really like this, the fact that he can do that. And then also, you know, fold this back here and just leave it there to fill it back out. Then what you want to do is you want to take the arms and just untab them from this thing right here. Untab it from there and then rotate it down. Take this piece here, rotate it back, and then come in here and rotate out the fists. And then finally we take the headmaster, fold him in like he is supposed to go, and then just take the head and just reattach it to the body. Ah, there you go. Sometimes it's a little bit more annoying than other times. And then here we have full tilt. Let me just give him his weapon. Back in his robotic move. So then here we are for the final thoughts. But before we do that, let me bring in the big boy himself, Omega Supreme, for a little good old-fashioned size comparison. And as you can see, Trypticon is slightly shorter than Omega Supreme. But man, these things are big. Look, I hate reviewing these figures. I will say that right now. I hate reviewing them because of how big they are. But man, do they look impressive. No matter what, at the end of the day, they do look really impressive. I like the way that they look. I love the way that they look together. And let's be honest here, these are the two from Transformers War for Cybertron. Of course, this was going to be the only size comparison I was going to do. You got so much playability with these Titan class figures. It's just making videos on them. It's just horrible. So let's get Omega out of here. But overall, here's the final thoughts on Trypticon. What do I think about him? I think overall he's actually really great. Do I recommend him? In a small way, yes. And that is if you do not have the original figure. If you don't have the original figure and you want Trypticon and you have the money lying around, I will say you can't really go wrong with this guy. I mean, the size is great. He looks really cool. He comes with a deluxe class figure and the headmaster. However, if you are kind of tight on cash, I would say kind of skip him, because there's a lot of other figures that you can get for the same amount of money that you can get this guy. And also, shelf space is very important when you have Titans, because I did not know how long his tail was going to be, and I'm kind of now paying for it because I have to put his legs all the way backwards. I'll show you what he would look like then. I have to have him standing with his legs all the way back like that, because of the fact that otherwise his feet hang over the shelf, and I don't like that. So I kind of wish that there was a way in order to kind of like get the tail a bit more out of the way in order to put him on shelves. But outside of that, this thing is great, even with its small hiccups, because of the fact that it is a mold reuse, and those are usually going to have some problems. This thing is not loose by any means. He can put up all the poses. The ratchets work really well. It's just the arm connections have some problems, in my opinion. But outside of that, he's a great figure. So do I recommend him? Only if you have the money and the space. If you don't, I would not really say that you should sell your house to buy a Trypticon, because where are you going to display him afterwards? You don't even have a house anymore. So this has been my review of Transformers Age of the Primes Titan class Trypticon with full tilt and Headmaster Necro. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell, and comment your thoughts on this figure. And please check out my Let's Play channel, linked in the description and at the end of the video. I upload 3 videos every day of different games, but mainly Pokemon. And I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye!